The Lord of the Rings, Part 9, by J.R.R. Tolkien.
Here, Mr. Frodo, put my orc cloak under your head. I hope this elf cloth can help us. I'll cover us both with it. There. It might keep us hidden. Ooh, it's cold. And there's the mountain. It looks every step of 50 miles, and that'll take a week if it takes a day.
Oh.
And when the task's done, we'll come to an end, alone, houseless and foodless, in this terrible desert. There'll be no return, not for us. So that was the job I felt I had to do when I started. To help Mr. Frodo to the last step, and then die with him. Well, if that's the job, then I must do it. But I'd dearly like to see Bywater again, and Rosie and her brothers, and the Gaffer, Marigold and all.
Oh.
Well, Mr. Frodo, I've been having a look round and thinking a bit. There's nothing on the roads now, and we'd best be getting away while there's a chance. Can you manage it?
I can manage it. I must.
Come on then. There. Lift up. Here, take my hand.
Sam.
And so the desperate journey went on, as the ring went south and the banners of the kings rode north. 4 days had passed since they had escaped from the orcs, but the time lay behind them like an ever-darkening dream. All this last day Frodo had not spoken, but had walked half-bowed, often stumbling, as if his eyes no longer saw the way before his feet. Anxiously Sam had noted how his master's left hand would often be raised as if to ward off a blow, or to screen his shrinking eyes from a dreadful eye that sought to look in them. And sometimes his right hand would creep to his chest, clutching, and then, slowly, as the will recovered mastery, it would be withdrawn. Now, as the blackness of night returned, Frodo sat, his head between his knees, his arms hanging wearily to the ground where his hands lay feebly twitching.
I can't manage it, Sam. It's such a weight to carry. Such a weight.
Then let me carry it a bit for you, Master. You know I would, and gladly, as long as I have any strength.
Stand away! Don't touch me! It's mine, I say! Be off!
Master!
Be off!
Master!
Oh. No, Sam, no. But you must understand. It's my burden, and no one else can bear it. I'm almost in its power now. I couldn't give it up. And if you tried to take it, I should go mad.
I understand, Master. I understand. Come on then, dear Mr. Frodo. Here, let me take your arms. Here.
In the dimness of its dreary day, few things even in that land of vigilance could have espied them as they bent their failing wills to the one task of going on. Of all the slaves of the Dark Lord, only the Nazgul, the ring-wraiths, could have warned him of the peril that crept, small but indomitable, into the very heart of his guarded realm. But the Nazgul and their wings were abroad on other errands. They were gathered far away, shadowing the march of the western armies, and thither the thought of the Dark Tower was turned. Slowly the mountain grew nearer.
Oh, I'm thirsty, Sam.
Here, Mr. Frodo. Wait, there's a couple of mouthfuls left. You shall have them both. I remember the fountains back home, but that was years ago. Well, we've come now, and we've done better than you hoped, Mr. Frodo.
Oh.
He won't go another day if he moves at all. I can go on, though, to the mountain, and somehow put it in the, what are they? The fire, the cracks of doom. If Master knows how to find them, well, I'll get there if I leave everything but my bones behind. And I'll carry Mr. Frodo up myself if it breaks my back and heart. That I will. Come on, Mr. Frodo. Here, let me lift you. Oh, Mr. Frodo, you don't have to crawl up. Well, I said I'd carry him if it broke my back, and I will. Come, Mr. Frodo. I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you and it as well. So, up you get. Off your hands and knees. Come on, Mr. Frodo, dear. Sam will give you a ride. Just tell him where to go, and he'll go. There. Isn't that better? Why, you're light. Oh, well, here goes then. If you'd only say where, but on we go. And now, a rest. There. Put you down gently.
Thank you, Sam. How far is there to go?
I don't know, because I don't know where we're going. There seems to be a path under all those rocks. You know, Mr. Frodo, I somehow feel as if...
No! No! Or it will be too late!
Yes, we must go on. There. That's what I feel.
I'll crawl, Sam. I'll crawl. Crawl.
We both will. We both will crawl. Crawl.
Far off the shadows of Sauron hung. But torn by some gust of wind out of the world, or else moved by some disquiet within, the mantling clouds swirled and for a moment drew aside. And then they saw, rising darker than the vast shades amid which it stood, the cruel pinnacles and iron crown of the topmost tower of the Dark Lord's stronghold. One moment only it stared out, but as from some great window immeasurably high there stabbed northward a flame of red, the flicker of a piercing eye. And then the shadows were fouled again and the terrible vision removed.
Now what was that?
Oh, Sam!
Wicked Master! Wicked Master Jesus! Jesus, Gollum. He mustn't go that way.
Oh, it's him. I knew he'd do us in.
He mustn't hurt Precious. Give it to Smeagol, yes.
No! Get your hands off! No, get your hands off! Down, you creeping thing! And out of my path! Your time is at an end! You cannot betray me or slay me now! Be gone and trouble me no more! If you touch me ever again, you shall be cast yourself into the fire of doom! Oh, Sam. Oh.
Oh, look out! He'll spring! Get out, Gollum, or I'll kill you! Quick, Master! Go on! No time to lose. I'll deal with him. Go on, Master!
Yes, I must go on. Farewell, Sam. This is the end at last. On Mount Doom. Doom shall fall. Farewell, Sam.
He's walking and proud. Now, at last I can deal with you, Gollum.
Don't kill us. Don't hurt us with nasty, cruel steel. Let us live, yes, live just a little longer. We're last. And when precious goes, we'll die, yes. Die into the dust.
Oh, curse you, you stinking thing! Go away! Be off! I don't trust you, not as far as I could kick you! But be off! Or I shall hurt you! Yes, with nasty, cruel steel! Be off! Be off! Oh, now, where did Mr. Frodo go? Up here? Here's a cleft. There's nowhere else to go. It's hot in here. Frodo! Master! Mr. Frodo! Master! Master! Mr. Frodo!
For a moment, Sam stood, his heart beating with wild fears, and then he plunged in. A hissing shadow followed him. At first he could see nothing. He drew out the phial of Galadriel, but it was pale and cold and threw no light into that stifling dark. He was come to the heart of the realm of Sauron, and the forges of his ancient might, greatest in Middle-earth. All other powers were here subdued. Fearfully, Sam took a few uncertain steps in the dark, and then suddenly...
It's a tunnel. There's a chasm ahead. That red glare lights everything up. It's, yes, it is the crack of doom.
And there, on the brink of the chasm, at the very crack of doom, stood Frodo, black against the glare, tense, erect, but still as if he had been turned to stone.
Master! Master!
I have come, but I do not now choose to do what I came to do. I will not do this deed. The ring is mine! Mine!
He's vanished! Oh no! Master! No! No!
Out of my way!
Far away, even as Frodo put on the ring and claimed it for his own, the Dark Lord was suddenly aware of him, and his eye, piercing all shadows, looked across the plain at the cleft in the mountain, and the magnitude of his own folly was revealed to him in a blinding flash, and all the devices of his enemies were at last laid bare. Then his wrath blazed in consuming flame, but his fear rose like a vast black smoke to choke him, for he knew his deadly peril, and the thread upon which his doom now hung. From all his policies and webs of fear and treachery, from all his stratagems and wars his mind shook free, and through his realm a tremor ran. His slaves quailed, and his armies halted, and his captains suddenly steerless, bereft of will, wavered and despaired, for they were forgotten. The whole mind and purpose of the power that had led them was now bent with overwhelming force upon the mountain. At his summons, wheeling with a rending cry in a last desperate race, there flew, faster than the winds, the Nazgul, the Ring Wraiths, and with a storm of wings they hurtled to Mount Doom.
What's happening? Gollum's got hold of him. Master! Master! Master!
Gollum on the edge of the abyss was fighting like a mad thing with an unseen foe. To and fro he swayed, now so near the brink that he almost tumbled in, now dragging back, falling to the ground, rising and falling again.
No! It's mine! It's mine!
The fires below awoke in anger. The red light blazed, and all the cavern was filled with a great glare and heat. Suddenly Sam saw Gollum's long hands draw upwards to his mouth. His white fangs gleamed and then snapped as they bit. Frodo gave a cry, and suddenly there he was, fallen upon his knees at the chasm's edge. But Gollum, dancing like a mad thing, held aloft the ring, a finger still thrust within its circle. It shone now as if verily it was wrought of living fire.
Oh, my precious! My precious! See?
As he lifted up his eyes to gloat on his prize, he stepped too far, toppled, wavered for a moment on the brink, and then with a shriek he fell.
Oh, quick, give me your arm. Here, I'll pick you up.
My finger.
Master. Oh,
My finger.
quick to the door before this caves in. Master, steady, Master, steady.
Not that way.
There, we made it outside.
Oh, this is the end, Sam Gamgee.
Oh, Master, you're yourself. You're yourself again. Your burden's gone. Oh, you're saved. You're free. Oh, your poor hand. And I have nothing to bind it with or comfort it. Oh, I would have spared him a whole hand of mine rather. Oh, but Gollum's gone now. Gone forever.
Yes, Sam. But do you remember Gandalf's words?
Yes.
Even Gollum may have something yet to do. Why, but for him, Sam, I could not have destroyed the ring. The quest would have been in vain, even at the bitter end. So let's forgive him, Sam. For the quest is achieved, and now all is over. So I'm glad you're here with me, Sam. Here at the end of all things.
Oh, Master.
Before the gates to the dread Lord's realm of Mordor, and all about the hills raged his hosts. The captains of the west were foundering in a gathering sea. The onslaught broke like a wave on the beleaguered hills.
coming! Stand, men of the West! Stand and wait! This is the hour of doom! The realm of Sauron is ended! The Ring-Bearer has fulfilled his quest! The flying dust before the wind! After them! After them! The realm of Sauron is ended! Victory! Victory! Lord of the Eagles, twice have you borne me, my friend. You won't find me a burden much greater than when you saved me from the tower where my whole life burned away.
I would bear you whither you will, even were you made of stone.
Then come and let your brother go with us and some other of your folk who is most swift, for we have need of speed greater than any wind, outmatching the wings of the Nazgul.
Come then, while I lay my claws around you.
Good.
So I'm glad you're here with me, Sam. Here at the end of all things.
Yes, I'm with you, Master. Here. Here, let me comfort your poor wounded hand.
Oh.
And you're with me. And the journey's finished. But coming all that way, I don't want to give up yet. It's not like me somehow, if you understand.
Maybe not, Sam. But it's like things are in the world. Hopes fail and end comes.
Well, Master, we could at least go further from this dangerous place here, from this crack of doom, if that's its name. Now, couldn't we, Master? Come, Mr. Frodo,
perhaps.
come. Let's go down the path. At any rate, come, Master.
Very well, Sam. If you wish to go, I'll come. Let's go.
What a tale we've been in, Mr. Frodo, haven't we?
Oh, yes.
I wish I could hear it told. Do you think they'll say, "Now comes the story of Nine-Fingered Frodo and the Ring of Doom"? And then everyone will hush, like we did, when in Rivendell they told us the tale of One Hand and the Great Jewel. Oh, I wish I could hear it. And I wonder how it will go on after our part.
Oh, who knows, Sam? Who knows?
And so it was that the Lord of the Eagles saw them with his keen, far-seeing eyes as down the wild wind he came, and daring the great peril of the mountain he circled in the air. Two small dark figures, forlorn, hand in hand upon a little hill, while the world shook under them and gasped and rivers of fire drew near. And even as he espied them and came swooping down, he saw them fall, worn out or choked with fumes and heat, or stricken down by despair at last, hiding their eyes from death. Side by side they lay, and down swept the Eagle Lord, and down came his brothers, and in a dream, not knowing what fate had befallen them, the wanderers were lifted up and borne far away out of the darkness and the fire.
Well, I thought you were dead. But then I thought I was dead myself.
Well, Master Samwise, how do you feel?
Well, I don't know how to say it. I feel like spring after winter, and sun on the leaves, and like trumpets and harps and all the songs I've ever heard. But
Yes?
but how's Mr. Frodo?
I fell asleep waiting for you, Sam, you sleepyhead. Oh, I was awake early this morning, and now it must be nearly noon.
Noon? Let me see, that's of what day?
Oh, the 14th of the new year. Now numbered since the day when Sauron fell and when you were brought out of the fire to the king. He's tended you, and now he awaits you. You shall eat and drink with him. When you're ready, I'll lead you to him.
14 days?
Yes.
But what king? Who is he?
Oh, the king of Gondor and the lord of all the western lands. He's taken back all his ancient realm. He'll ride soon to his crowning, and he waits for you.
But what shall we wear?
Oh, the clothes that you wore on your way to Mordor.
No.
Yes, even the orc rags that you bore in the dark land, Frodo, shall be preserved.
Really?
Yes, no silks or linens, nor any armor or heraldry could be more honorable. And I have these.
Oh, what have you got there?
They were found on Sam when he was rescued. The Phial of Galadriel, and your box, Sam.
Oh.
Ha ha! Now come on, you two.
Well, all right, let's go.
And so the red blood blushing in their faces and their eyes shining with wonder, Frodo and Sam went forward, and saw that amidst the clamorous host were set 3 high seats. And behind the seat upon the right floated, white on green, a banner with a white horse running free. Upon the left was a banner, silver on blue, with a ship, swan proud, faring on the sea. But behind the highest throne, in the midst of all, a great standard was spread in the breeze, and there a white tree flowered upon a sable field beneath a shining crown and 7 glittering stars. On the throne sat a mail-clad man. A great sword was laid across his knees, but he wore no helm. As they drew near, they knew him.
Well, if this isn't the crown of all, Strider, or I'm still asleep.
Well, Sam, it's a long way, isn't it, from Bree, where you didn't like the look of me. A long way for us all, but yours has been the darkest road.
See, I, the King of Gondor and Lord of all the western lands, bow my knee before them and take them by my hand. Praise them with great praise.
Long live the half-life! Long live the half-life! With praise the half-life!
Let the minstrel come forth.
Sing the lay, my lord.
Sing.
Lo, lords and knights and men of valor unashamed, kings and princes and fair people of Gondor, and riders of Rohan, and ye sons of Elrond, and elf and dwarf and great hearts of the Shire, and all free folk of the West, now listen to my lay. For I will sing to you of Frodo of the 9 Fingers and the Ring of Doom.
Oh, great glory and splendor! And all my wishes have come true! Oh.
When the captains of the West led their host back towards the city, the folk saw them advance in line upon line, flashing and glinting in the sunrise and rippling like silver. And so they came before the gateway and halted a furlong from the walls. As yet no gates had been set up again, but a barrier was laid across the entrance. Before the barrier stood Faramir, the steward, and the Lady Eowyn, and a great mass of fair people in raiment of many colors and garlands of flowers. And Aragorn advanced with his company.
The last steward of Gondor begs leave to surrender his office.
That office is not ended, and it shall be thine and thy heirs as long as my line shall last. Do now thy office.
Men of Gondor, hear now the steward of this realm. Here is Aragorn, son of Arathorn, chieftain of the Dunedain of Arnor, captain of the host of the west, bearer of the star of the north, wielder of the sword reforged, victorious in battle, whose hands bring healing, the Elfstone, Elessar of the line of Elendil, Isildur's son, Elendil's son of Numenor. Shall he be king and enter the city and dwell there? I have today brought forth the crown of the last king, whose days passed in the time of our forefathers of old.
I speak the words that Elendil spoke when he came up out of the sea on the wings of the wind. Out of the great sea to Middle-earth am I come. In this place will I abide, and my heirs unto the ending of the world.
And in the days of Aragorn the king, the city was made more fair than it had ever been, even in the days of its first glory. And it was filled with trees and with fountains, as the elf Legolas had wished. And its gates were wrought with mithril and steel, and its streets paved with white marble, as the dwarf Gimli had promised. And Aragorn gave to Faramir the land of Ithilien to be his kingdom, and bade him dwell within sight of the city of Minas Tirith. And upon the very eve of midsummer, when the sky was blue as sapphire, and white stars opened in the east, and the air cool and fragrant, there rode into Minas Tirith Glorfindel and all the household of Rivendell.
There's Lord Celeborn, Lord of Lothlorien, and
the Lady Galadriel.
And Master Elrond, too.
at last I understand why we waited, Gandalf. Now not only day shall be beloved, but night too shall be beautiful and blessed, and all its fear pass away.
And Aragorn the King Elessar wedded Arwen Undomiel of the Elves in the city of the kings upon the day of midsummer, and the tale of their long waiting and labors was come to fulfillment. At last the day of departure came, and a great and fair company made ready to ride north from the city. Gandalf rode on Shadowfax. Frodo and Sam rode at Aragorn's side. Merry and Pippin rode with the knights of Gondor, and Legolas and Gimli, as ever, rode together. In that riding also went Queen Arwen, and Celeborn, and Galadriel. And they buried the King Theoden in his own country of Rohan, and Merry wept to say him farewell.
Theoden, King, farewell. As a father you were to me for a little while. Farewell.
And they rode to Isengard, where they learned that Treebeard had so hated caging living things that he had let Saruman and his lackey Wormtongue finally leave Orthanc and escape back into the world. And in his turn, Gandalf told Treebeard and Quickbeam of the downfall of Sauron.
True, to be sure, Ents played their part. And not only in dealing with that accursed tree slayer who dwelt here.
Here then at last comes the ending of the Fellowship of the Ring. Yet I hope ere long you will return to my land with the help that you promised.
We'll come, if our own lords allow it. Well, farewell, my hobbits. You should come safe to your own homes now, and I shan't be kept awake for fear of your peril. Well, some of us may yet meet at times, but I fear that we shall not all be gathered together ever again.
Faroon, well, you two. Faroon, will you drink another draught with me before you go?
Indeed we will.
Yes, indeed.
Faroon, take care, for you've already grown since I saw you last. Faroon, goodbye. And don't forget that if you hear any news of the Entwives in your land, you'll send word to me.
We won't forget.
Come now. Farewell.
Farewell. Faroon, 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 Faroon.
At last, one evening, they came over the high moors down to the brink of the deep valley of Rivendell. And before they had eaten or washed or even shed their cloaks, the hobbits went in search of Bilbo. They found him all alone in his little room. It was littered with papers and pens and pencils, but Bilbo was sitting in a chair before a small, bright fire. He looked very old, but full of sleep and peaceful.
Bilbo, dear Bilbo, at last!
Hello, Mr. Bilbo, sir.
Hello, hello. So you've come back.
Yes.
And tomorrow's my birthday, too. How clever of you. Do you know I shall be 129? And in 1 year more I shall equal the old Took. I should like to beat him, but we shall see. Now let me take some notes, and you can tell me all the things you've done. How splendid. Oh, yes, splendid. I was invited to the wedding, you know, but when it came to it, I found I had so much to do here, and packing is such a bother.
We must be going soon, Bilbo. Back to the Shire, you know.
Yes, well, I shall miss you, but it's nice to know that you're about the place. But I'm getting very sleepy. Now, I want you to have my coat of mail. Oh, and Sting, my sword, you know.
But you gave them to me.
Oh, did I?
Yes.
Still, here's a small bag of gold for you, Sam, my boy.
Oh, thank
Almost
you, Mr. Bilbo.
the last drop of the Smog vintage. Now, where were we? Oh, yes. What's become of my ring, Frodo, that you took away?
I've lost it, Bilbo, dear. I got rid of it, you know.
What a pity. I should have liked to see it again. But no, that's what you went for, wasn't it? To get rid of it.
Yes.
But it's all so confusing. I came back by much too straight a road from my trip. But then the auction would have been over, and I should have had even more trouble than I did. Anyway, it's too late now. The fire's very cozy here, and the food's very good. And there are elves when you want them. What more could one want, eh?
Yeah.
I wrote a song about it. The road goes ever on and on, out from the door where it began. Now far ahead the road has gone. Let others follow it who can. Let them a journey new begin. But I at last with weary feet will turn towards the lighted inn, my evening rest and sleep to meet.
I don't think Mr. Frodo, he's done much writing while we've been away. He won't ever write our story now.
Frodo, my dear fellow, would you mind tidying things up a bit before you go? I haven't much time for the selection and arrangement and all that. Get Sam to help you, and then I'll run over it. I won't be too critical.
Of course I'll do it. And of course I'll come back soon.
Thank you, my dear fellow. That really is a very great relief to my mind.
And a fair journey home, Frodo, Sam and Pippin and Merry, and I bless you, Frodo.
Thank you, for all of us, Elrond.
I think, Frodo, that maybe you won't need to come back, unless you come very soon, for about this time of the year, when the leaves are gold before they fall, look for Bilbo in the woods of the Shire. I shall be with him.
At last they came to the prancing pony, and that at least looked outwardly unchanged, and there were lights behind the red curtains in the lower windows.
Well, Sam, ring the doorbell.
Who's there? Oh, Mr. Butterbur! Master, they've come back!
Oh, they will all learn them. Why, you shouldn't go scaring me like that, with times as they are. Well, and where have you come from? I never expected to see any of you folk again, and that's a fact. Going off into the wild with that Strider. Well, come in. Ain't no take the guest ponies.
All right. Come on.
Oh, things are far from well. Business isn't even fair. It all comes of those newcomers that began coming up the Greenway last year, and more came later. Oh, there was real trouble right here in Bree, bad trouble. We had a real set to, and there were some folk killed dead. If you believe me.
I will indeed, Butterbur. How many of them?
3 and 2 little uns.
No one troubled us.
Oh, they wouldn't go for armed folk. Make them think twice, that would, and I must say, it put me aback a bit when I saw you.
I suppose we must look a little strange.
We've become so used to warfare, we forgot our mail and shields.
And there's my sword.
Yes, Gandalf, and you and your tall horse, all clad in white with a great mantle of blue and silver. Oh, they'd be frightened all right of that.
Well, now we've seen old Butterbur, I'd dearly like to see old Bombadil again. I wonder how he's getting on.
As well as ever, you may be sure. No, if I were you, I'd press on now for home. Oh, you won't come to the Brandywine Bridge before the gates are locked.
But there aren't any gates, not on the road. You know that quite well, Gandalf.
There weren't any gates, you mean. I think you'll find some now. And you might have more trouble in the Shire than you think. Yes. Goodbye, dear friends.
Goodbye?
Yes, not for the last time. Not yet. Goodbye.
You're leaving us? Well, goodbye.
That was quick. I suppose he's going to see Tom Bombadil.
Well, here we are, just the four of us that started out together.
Yes.
We've left all the rest behind, one after another. It seems almost like a dream that has slowly faded.
It was after nightfall when, wet and tired, the travelers came at last to the Brandywine River on the outskirts of their shire.
There's a spike gate at either end. Look, a spike gate.
Hammer on the door.
Who's that? Who's that? Be off. You can't come in. Can't you read the notice?
Come along. Don't you know me? I'm Mary Brandybuck, and I should like to know what all this is about.
Bless me. It's Master Mary. Why, they said you were dead, lost in the forest.
Stop gaping through the bars and open the gate.
Oh, I'm sorry, Master Mary, but we have orders.
Whose orders?
Well, the chief's at Bag End.
Chief? What chief? Do you mean Mr. Lotho?
I suppose so, Mr. Baggins, but we have to say chief nowadays.
Do you indeed? It's evidently high time that the family dealt with him and put him in his place.
You'll get the hit of it, and if you make so much noise, you'll wake the chief's big man.
We'll wake him up in a way that will surprise him.
Well, come on, Pippin. Two is enough. Climb the gate.
Oh, no.
What's all this gate breaking? You clear out or I'll break your filthy little necks.
See this sword, Bill Ferny? If you don't open that gate in 10 seconds, you'll regret it. You're a ruffian and a highway robber.
What? Here, take it.
It's Keys. He's gone forever, I'd say.
Look out! The chief will hear of it!
You didn't ought to come in!
Don't give them food!
There's not enough.
Right.
What's come over the place? Has it been a bad year?
No, Mr. Meddy. It's all these gatherers and sharers going round counting and measuring and taking off to storage. They do more gathering than sharing, and we never see most of the stuff again.
Oh, come, this is all too tiresome for me tonight. Just give us a room to lie down.
We'll sort it out in the morning. Then we'll go on to Hobbiton.
What can we do?
I'm going to have some cleaning up.
There's
to
a
do,
lot
that's
of
for
burning
sure.
going on. Look at that smoke.
And look ahead. There's a barrier across the road.
And a notice. It says no road.
Many of the old houses seem to have been burned down. Look at those gardens. Run to weeds.
And that line of ugly new houses along poolside.
Yes, the avenue of trees stood there. They're gone.
Look over towards Bag End.
Oh, no.
A tall chimney and black smoke. Ugh. Well, I'll be. I'm going right on, Mr. Frodo. I'm going to see what's up. I want to find my gaffer. All the houses and holes are shut. The windows are broken.
Look out! See those ruffians there? They're men.
Like the men I saw at Isengard.
Where do you think you're going?
We're not used to highway robbers in this country, but we know how to deal with them.
Right you are, Mary.
Highway robbers, eh? We'll change your tone.
I'm on my way to call on Mr. Lotho.
He'll do what Sharky says. Because if a boss gives trouble, we can change him, see?
Can you now?
Yes, I see. I also see you're behind the times. Your day is over, you ruffians.
It is that.
The Dark Tower has fallen, and Isengard has been destroyed, and your precious master is a beggar in the wilderness. There is a king in Gondor.
Beggar in the wilderness, or is he indeed? you, King?
I am a messenger of the king. You are a ruffian. Down on your knees.
All right, all right. There's no need to take it.
Oh, go! If you trouble this village again, you'll regret it.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Yeah, let's go.
We've come back none too soon.
Perhaps too late to save Lotho, miserable fool of a hobbit.
Oh, I hope not.
He never must have meant things to come to this pass. The ruffians are on top, gathering, robbing, and bullying in his name.
We've certainly got to do something at once.
Aye, but what?
Raise the Shire. Now. Wake all our people.
That's right, that's right.
They hate all this, you can see. They've been so comfortable so long, they don't know what to do. Sam,
you're right.
You make a dash for Cotton's farm and get Farmer Cotton. He's the sturdiest. And I'm going to blow the horn of Rohan and give them all some music they've never heard before. Awake! Awake!
Oh, it's begun at last. I've been itching for trouble all this year. Come on!
Do you think it's...
Oh, it's Sam Ganji!
Hello, Sam. Where
Hello,
have you been then? They
Sam.
said you was dead. You've not hurried, have you?
Perhaps not, Rosie, but I'm hurrying now.
Well, go on now, but come straight back as soon as you settle those ruffians.
Oh, I shall.
Come on, we can settle them if we stick together.
They're coming along the road, close 100 of them, and they're burning everything as they come. You pull out the wagons and make a barrier, and the rest of you get behind the hedges on either side. Look sharp! I've laid my plan. Stick to them, and we've got them.
My, Mr. Meddy, sir, how you've changed.
Come on, look lively. Lay down your weapons. Then go back 20 paces and sit down. Any who try to break out will be shot.
Get rid of the hiding trades. Burn everything.
All right, you asked for it.
Watch out there! Oh, Frodo! Oh, thank you for over here.
We won't get far. All the country's alive with our folk now.
At last all was over. Nearly 70 of the ruffians lay dead on the field, and a dozen were prisoners. 19 hobbits were killed, and some 30 were wounded. The dead ruffians were loaded on wagons and hauled off to an old sand pit nearby and there buried. The fallen hobbits were laid together in a grave on the hillside, where later a great stone was set up with a garden about it. And so ended the Battle of Bywater, 1419, the last battle fought in the Shire, and at the top of the roll in all accounts of it stand the names of Captains Meriadoc and Peregrine Took.
We won the battle.
Well, I suppose it's time now that we dealt with the so-called chief.
Yes, the sooner the better. And don't be too gentle. He's responsible for bringing in all those ruffians and for all the evil they've done.
That's certainly
Yes,
true.
he should be punished.
Well, come on then, Sam, Merry, Pippin. I don't think it'll be very nice.
Try the door, Master.
Come on, it's open.
Oh, it stinks.
It's filthy. Oh, everything's a mess.
Dreadful.
Lotho!
It hasn't been used, so it seems.
Where's that miserable Lotho hiding? Shall we search the sheds?
This is worse than Mordor. Much worse in a way. Because it's home.
Aye.
And you remember it before it was all ruined like this. Oh, look!
Yes. This is Mordor. Just one of its works. Saruman was doing its work all the time, even when he thought he was working for himself. And the same with those that Saruman tricked, like Lotho.
Oh, let's get out of here. If I'd known all the mischief he had caused, I should have stuffed my pouch down Saruman's throat.
No doubt, but you didn't, and so I'm able to welcome you home.
Saruman!
I pity you, Saruman. If you find pleasure in all of this, it will be a pleasure of memory only. Go at once and never return.
Don't let him go! Kill him! He's a villain and murderer! Kill him!
Kill him, if you think there are enough of you, my brave hobbits. Do not think I lost all my power when I lost my goods, and if my blood stains the Shire, it shall wither and never again be healed.
What?
Don't believe him. He lost all his power save his voice, and that can still daunt and deceive you if you let it. Go, Saruman, by the speediest way. Worm!
Saruman turned to go, and Worm-tongue shuffled out of a nearby hut, crawling almost like a dog. But even as Saruman passed close to Frodo, a knife flashed in the wizard's hand and he stabbed swiftly. The blade turned on the hidden coat of mail and snapped. A dozen hobbits, led by Sam, leaped forward with a cry and flung the villain to the ground. Sam drew his sword.
No, Sam, no. Don't kill him even now. He hasn't hurt me. And in any case, I don't want him to be slain in this evil mood. He was great once, of a noble kind which we shouldn't dare to raise our hands against. He's fallen, and his cure is beyond us. But I would spare him in case he ever finds it.
Saruman rose to his feet and stared at Frodo. There was a strange look in his eyes of mingled wonder and respect and hatred.
You have grown, halfling. You are wise and cruel. You have robbed my revenge of sweetness, and now I must go hence in bitterness in debt to your mercy. I hate it, and I hate you. I go, and I'll trouble you no more. But don't expect me to wish you health and a long life. You shall have neither. But that's not my doing. I only foretell. Worm-tongue, you needn't follow him. I know of no evil you've done to me. You can have rest and food here for a while until you're stronger and can go on your own ways. No evil? Oh, no. Even when he sneaks out at night, it's only to take a look at the stars. But did I hear someone ask where poor Lotho is hiding? You know, don't you, Worm? Why don't you tell them? Will you tell them?
No.
Then I will. Worm killed your chief. Poor little fellow, your nice little boss. Didn't you, Worm? Stabbed him in his sleep, I believe. Buried him, I hope, though Worm has been very hungry lately. No, Worm isn't very nice. You'd better leave him to me.
You told me to, Saruman. You made me do it.
You do what your Sharky says always, don't you, Worm? Well, now he says follow.
Saruman kicked Worm-tongue in the face as he groveled and turned and made off. But at that moment something snapped. Suddenly Worm-tongue rose up, drawing a hidden knife, and then with a snarl like a dog he sprang on Saruman's shoulders, jerked his head back, slit his throat, and with a yell ran off down the lane. Before Frodo could recover or speak a word, 3 hobbit bows twanged, and Worm-tongue fell dead.
Look what's happening to Saruman!
A mist, like smoke from a fire.
It's going up from his body.
It's dissolving. It's dissolved into nothing.
Nothing!
It's gone.
Look at the body. It's shriveling. It's hideous. See, it's a skull. Cover it, Sam, and let's go.
Oh, yes, Master. And that's the end of that. A nasty end. And I wish I needn't have seen it. But it's good riddance.
And the very last end of the war, I hope.
I hope so. The very last stroke.
I shan't call it the end till we've cleared up the mess, and that'll take a lot of time and work.
One of the first things done in Hobbiton before even the removal of the new mill was the clearing of the hill and Bag End and the restoration of Bagshot Row. The trees were the worst loss and damage, for at Sharkey's bidding they had been cut down recklessly far and wide over the shire, even the great birthday tree in Bilbo's own garden. Then suddenly one day Sam remembered the box that was the gift of Galadriel.
I wondered when you'd think of it, Sam. Open it.
Here goes, then. It's filled with dust, all soft and fine. And look, here's a seed, like a small nut, with a silver shell. What can I do with this?
Throw it in the air on a breezy day and let it do its work.
On what?
Well, choose one spot as a nursery and see what happens to the plants there.
Well, I'm sure the lady wouldn't like me to keep it for my own garden, now so many folks have suffered.
Well, Sam, I expect every grain there has a value.
I shall go around the Shire to all the places where specially beautiful or beloved trees have been cut down, and put a grain of my precious dust in the soil at the foot of each new sapling I plant. And we'll see, just as you say, Mr. Merry Sir.
Spring the next year surpassed Sam's wildest hopes. His trees began to sprout and grow as if time was in a hurry and wished to make 1 year do for 20. And it was a marvelous year. There was wonderful sunshine and delicious rain in due times and perfect measure. But there also seemed something more. An air of richness and growth, and a gleam of a beauty beyond that of mortal summers that flicker and pass upon this middle earth. Frodo was not always well, and once a year all became dark and empty for him. And then the fit passed. Bag End was set in order, and the old hole soon looked very much as it always had done.
When are you going to move in and join me, Sam?
Well, to tell the truth, Mr. Frodo...
Well, there's no need to come yet if you don't want to.
Oh, it's not that, Mr. Frodo.
Well, what is it?
It's Rosie. It seems she didn't like my going abroad at all.
I see. You want to get married, and you want to live with me, too. But, my dear Sam, there's room enough in Bag End for us all.
Really, Mr. Frodo? Oh, thank you, Mr. Frodo. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Frodo.
And so it was settled. Sam married Rosie, the farmer's daughter, and they came and lived at Bag End. Merry and Pippin also lived together, and there was much coming and going between Buckland and Bag End. Frodo and Sam sometimes wore their gray cloaks, and Mr. Frodo wore always a white jewel on a chain that he would often hold when he was sick. Time went on, and Frodo was ill again next year, but with great effort he concealed it. Sam called his firstborn Elanor, the Elvish for Sunstar, and as 1421 passed into autumn, Frodo called Sam into the study.
It'll be Bilbo's birthday on Thursday, Sam, and he'll pass the old Took. He'll be 131.
So he will. What a marvel.
I want you to see Rose and find out if she can spare you, so that you and I can go off together. You can't go far, but you can see me on my way.
I wish I could go all the way with you, Mr. Frodo, and see Mr. Bilbo. But I'm that torn in two.
Poor Sam. It will feel like that, but you'll be healed. You were meant to be whole, and you will be. Now I'm going to go through my papers and writings and hand over my keys to you. You see, there's this big book.
That's Mr. Bilbo's writing.
Yes, thin and wandering, isn't it? Most of it's me, though. I wrote most of it. It's divided into chapters. See? It has lots of titles.
All crossed out. My diary. My unexpected journey. There and back again. And what happened after? Adventures of 5 hobbits. The tale of the Great Ring.
And here's where I began. The downfall of the Lord of the Rings and the return of the king as seen by the little people, being the memoirs of Bilbo and Frodo of the Shire, supplemented by the accounts of their friends and the learning of the wise, etc., etc. See?
Why, you've nearly finished it, Mr. Frodo.
I have quite finished it, Sam. These last pages are for you.
Oh, Mr. Frodo, sir, for me. Oh, sir.
On September the 21st, they set out together.
Why, if that isn't the very tree you hid behind when the Black Rider showed up, Mr. Frodo.
Oh, yes, Sam.
Listen, Mr. Frodo, sir. It's elves and the lady.
Well, Master Samwise, I hear and see that you have used my gift well. The Shire shall now be more blessed and beloved than ever.
Ah, I had forgotten how beautiful she is.
And look, there's Bilbo! 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 Oh, Bilbo!
Frodo! Well, I've passed the old Took today, so that's settled, and now I think I'm quite ready to go on another journey. Are you coming?
Yes, I'm coming. The ring bearers should go together.
Where are you going, Master?
To the Havens, Sam.
And I can't come?
No, Sam. Well, not yet, anyway. Though you too were a ring bearer, if only for a little while. Your time may come. Don't be too sad, Sam. You can't always be torn in two. You'll have to be one for many years. You have so much to enjoy and be, and so much to do.
But I thought you were going to enjoy the Shire too for years and years, after all you've done.
Oh, so I thought once. But I've been deeply hurt, Sam. I tried to save the Shire, and it has been saved, but not for me. It must often be so, Sam. When things are in danger, someone has to give them up, lose them, so that others may keep them. But you are my heir. All that I had and might have had, I leave to you. Your hands and wits will be needed everywhere, Sam. Why, you will become the mayor and the most famous gardener in history. And you'll read things out of the book and keep alive the memory of the age that is gone, so that people will remember the great danger, and so love the beloved land all the more. And that will keep you as busy and as happy as anyone can be, as long as your part of the story goes on. Come now, ride with me and the elves.
They rode through the midst of the Shire all the evening and all the night, but none saw them pass save the wild creatures, or here and there some wanderer in the dark who saw a swift shimmer under the trees. And when they had passed from the Shire, they came to the far downs and looked on the distant sea. And so they rode down at last to the grey havens in the long firth of Lune. And there was a white ship lying, and upon a quay stood a figure robed all in white awaiting them.
Why, it's Gandalf.
And on Gandalf's hand he wore the third ring, Narya the Great, and the stone upon it was red as fire. Then those who were to go were glad, for they knew that Gandalf also would take ship with them. Then as all was being made ready to depart,
Whoa!
You tried to give us the slip once before and failed, Frodo. You failed again. It wasn't Sam, though, that gave you away this time. It was Gandalf here.
Yes, it'll be better to ride back 3 together than 1 alone. Well, here at last, dear, dear friends, on the shores of the sea, comes the end to our fellowship in Middle-earth. Go in peace. I will not say don't weep. Not all tears are an evil. Farewell.
Here, let me kiss you, Merry. And Pippin.
Frodo.
And my own dear, dear Sam.
Master.
And Frodo and Gandalf and the high elven folk went aboard, and the sails were drawn up, and slowly the ship slipped away down the long grey firth, and the light of Galadriel's glass that Frodo bore glimmered and was lost. And the ship went on into the high sea and passed on, until at last, on a night of rain, Frodo smelled a sweet fragrance on the air and heard the sound of singing that came over the water. And then it seemed to him that the grey rain curtain turned all to silver glass and was rolled back, and he beheld a far green country under a swift sunrise.
Shall we go back home now?
Yes.
Yes.
And so Merry, Pippin, and Sam came back up to their hill as day was ending once more. Sam went on to Bag End, and there was a yellow light and fire within, and the evening meal was ready, and he was expected. And Rose drew him in and set him in his chair, and put little Elanor upon his lap.
There you are, Sam.
Well, I'm back.
You've been listening to The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien, adapted for radio by Bernard Mays, and featuring James Arrington as Frodo, Lou Bliss as Sam, Bernard Mays as Gandalf, Mac McAdam as Pippin, John Vickery as Faramir, and Legolas, Ray Reinhardt as Bilbo, Pat Franklin as Merry, Carl Haig as Elrond, and Gail Chugg as Gollum and the narrator.